Hi there, Vibe Gardeners. Welcome to another episode of Vibe Gardening Inform Edition, where I'm going to talk about how I accidentally set up an experiment here with my tomato to see if I can start them in the middle of April, way too early, and see if I can keep them alive. Now, with that said, let's go. Alright, guys, to set you guys up with a scenario here of what happened. So, essentially, what happened is that last week I had to leave for a family emergency trip for a whole 7 days. And remember how I said I was going to pot up my tomato that was in dire need of potting up? Well, I never got to it. And because of all the things leading up to the trip, I never got around. And so what ended up happening was the tomato were very much cramped, very, very root bound, and actually quite developed with very thick stems. And so when I came back from my trip, I decided that I was going to essentially take my tomatoes, put it out here, and see if I can just get them out in the middle of April, which is about a month and a half before what you can do here in zone 6A, and see if I can make it work. And the setup really here is that the temperature seems to be perfect for it, the timing seems about right, and I feel like I can put it off with historic data I did. But of course, without having my dear channel friend Indiana Funny Farm with Kimberly basically telling me I might end up losing these guys, but I also have backup, which I'll show at the end of this video. So with that said, here we go. So let's talk a little bit about the weather and why it's actually perfect. So what happened was right when I came back, the temperature hit 80s, or approximately about 25 degrees Celsius here in Michigan. It is quite warm, especially unseasonably warm for zone 6A here in Michigan, Southeast Michigan. So what I decided I was going to do is that I'm going to bring it out here. It's going to be about 5 days or so at least of this type of warm temperature. And the nighttime temperature is going to be actually in the mid 60s or so, approximately for the whole entire week coming up. So this is a Monday here. And I figure it's going to be about 4 or 5 nights straight of summer-like nighttime temperature, giving the tomato enough time to establish. And that I think is a good idea. So what happened was last night when I got back, what I did was I brought out these tomatoes at nighttime. And what I did was I gave it about the final half hour to an hour of sunset, which kind of gave it a time to acclimate a little bit. And this being the west side of the house, it gave the tomato a good chance to be able to be in the shade for the entirety of the morning. So again, it's another step in that hardening. And yes, I know I'm aggressively hardening it. And the reason why I was doing this is temperature is perfect. And the lighting is also quite strong in the basement with two 70-watt shop lights. So I think I'm giving it good lighting. So yes, it's going to be abruptly different in daylight. Like right now, as you can see, it's sunny. And but so far, the tomato, as you'll see in a minute, looks like it's handling it quite well. But today is actually partly cloudy with high temperatures. And yeah, there was some wind last night, but that was the only stressor it had all evening. But today the wind is quite calm, the temperature is warm, and it's partly cloudy. And yeah, I think this gave it the best chance to get acclimated to the weather. And once it gets really acclimated in Wednesday, after about 3 days of this temperature, I'll just give it some fertilizer to give it a chance to really push. Because right now, these guys are about 12 inches tall, 12 to 14 inches. And as I'll show you guys, it is very thick on the stem. I think they're actually quite well positioned to be able to make it. And if I do the right things and giving it even better microclimate, I'll be able to give it the chance to survive. And obviously after this whole entire experiment, which I'll have to show you guys in a week next Monday, how it survived a brutal cold snap coming. In that Sunday, we're expecting right now, at least the forecast, is that going to drop into below freezing actually Sunday night. And I know, Kimberly, um, this is a daring attempt at testing hardening and ultra early season adaptation, but it's only one day. Let's see if they make it. It might stunt it for good. But like I said, I have backups. We can always go back to them. Alright guys, so this is a close-up of one of the tomatoes here. As you can see, it's actually looking like it's quite happy in the sun, but when it came back, it was severely water deprived and looking quite floppy. Already it's perking up quite well with the good watering I gave it. And yeah, it seems like it's not at all complaining about the sun and being given it no hardening coming out right away. But I think that little bit of sunset yesterday, as well as the morning in the shade, definitely helped it get ready for this blast of sun. Also, to show you guys a little bit about the readiness, look at the thickness of the stem compared to my finger. It is already about almost the entire thickness of my index finger on the left side, which is pretty hefty. So they're not adolescent anymore. They're definitely, I mean, they're still probably adolescent, but they're definitely not babies anymore. I think they might be able to do this just fine. So this is probably the healthiest one that I have in the group. If you see how fuzzy the stem is, this one definitely is looking like it's quite ready. Do a little zoom out. You'll see that this guy right here, it's absolutely loving the outdoor temperatures. That's almost summer-like right now. So this guy right here is probably the saddest looking of them all, in that it's got probably a little bit of drooping leaf already from having low water at the end of the week. I'll go into more about the condition it was under and how I was able to keep everything alive while being gone for a whole entire week. But this one, like I said, these are not the best shape already. And I think given the outdoor temperature and summer-like temperature and the exposure would actually both harden and also give it another boost of life. Alright, so these are the reservist tomatoes that have not brought out. As you can see, a lot of them showed signs of dehydration at the end, and I still need to pot up more of them. But for the most severely underpotted ones, I've already potted into the final destination. It's the 1 gallon planter. And they're already showing basically spring up already. And over there, especially these guys right here, look how root bound they are. They're even worse than before I left. I would definitely put this into the 1 gallon pot and give them a chance to really come up. As you can see, they're not doing very good. But I will give them the best shot to survive a little later on. And so if those 5 tomato out there don't make it, these guys will be able to take its place. I have exactly about 7 of them left out here. So if it doesn't work out, I'll be able to have 2 reserve, which I have 2 friends waiting to get them. So hopefully I can get them all to be ready for the outdoors if the ones out there don't make it through the cold snap this Sunday. Alright guys, so as you can see, yeah, these guys are really an unintentional experiment here in that I had a rash reaction on trying to get these guys transplanted way too early for Zone 6A here in Southeast Michigan. But I do know that I have a 10-degree shift in temperature here from the brick wall receiving the west-facing brick wall here, receiving the sunset sun, basically acting as a solar heat bank right here. And so yeah, it will definitely swing the temperature up. It's still going to be a test of what can actually happen on Sunday night, where weather.com, where the Weather Channel has predicted a low of possibly down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, which is negative, yes, negative 2 degrees Celsius. So hopefully the swing of temperature will bring it all the way up to the upper 30s. Or approximately about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. And I'm definitely going to go shopping for some clear plastic coverings and use a few of my contraptions from last year to be able to build a covering and potentially giving it a bit of a better chance to get out of this without being stunted, as I've been warned by Kimberly from Indiana Funny Farms here. So it may or may not work out. But like I said, I have 7 whole tomato plants in reserves if I have to resort to it. And I'll still be left with 2 tomato plants that I can still give away, as I've been telling a lot of my friends. But as you can see, by not potting it up, lefting a bad chance to survive a whole entire 7 days without intervention. And that's going to be another video of how, well, I kind of relatively kept everything alive. Not the healthiest, but relatively alive. And talk more about that. But in this episode, this is going to be basically a setup of, well, let's see in 7 days, how it survives that brutally cold night on Sunday night coming up. So guys, here we are. Hopefully it's going to be a happy ending, but we shall see what actually happens. Until next time, guys, keep gardening and keep vibing. Let's go.